his nerves within his own body, his nervous system and his ability to function was totally taken down. And yet he would always say, hold my hand, hold my hand, hold my hand. So I held his hand, and he said, I want to ask you a favor. Now, remember that this is, in Maury's mind, the last time he's going to see me. I'm pretty sure he was aware that this was the end. And in hindsight, I recognized that this was the end too. And so he says, I want to ask you a favor. Now, what do you suppose the last favor that someone would ask someone before they died would be? Give your imagination some slack, some rope, and think, well, okay, a person who's about to die is going to ask me a favor. What would the favor be? Maybe you would think, I want you to watch out for something after I'm gone. Take care of, make sure my kids get this or that, make sure my wife is looked after, starts a new life at some point, or make sure they don't sell the stock. I don't know. Could be.
I don't know.
Could be any one of a million things, right? Favors. This was what Maury's favor was. And it's really, honestly, Lisa, if I'm being honest, I don't think he ever asked me for a favor before that. So this was not only his last favor, it was his only favor.
Right.
This is what he said. I want you to come visit me at my grave. Now, maybe he knew what I just got done saying, that left to our own devices, many of us will not go to a cemetery. Many of us will just not make the visit. We'll come up with excuses why. We'll say, well, I'm doing it in my head. I'm visiting in my head. Why do I physically need to be there? Maybe Maury understood that. And so he asked me a favor because I think he knew that I would not refuse him his last and, as I mentioned, his only favor. I want you to come to my grave, he said. All right, I said. I was probably going to do that anyhow. And he said, well, not the way that everybody else comes. So now I knew that this was a favor that was specific to me, right? What do you mean? Don't bring me flowers. Drive the car in. Get out, but leave the engine running. Meaning you're not going to be there for very long. Go put the flowers down, say a few words, get back in the car and go. I don't want you to do that. Now, those of you listening to us, how many of you have done that for departed loved ones or friends at a cemetery? That constitutes your visit. You drive in, leave the engine running, I guess if it's cold outside, and put down some flowers, say a few words, miss you, get back in the car. Listen, that's better than nothing, and that's still a visit, and we're not here to judge the visits. But Maury was. Maury, it was the end. Maury wasn't worried about what anybody was going to think. That wasn't a visit to him. He said, I want you to come when you have some time. I want you to bring a blanket and bring some sandwiches, and I want you to talk to me. And this is the essence of the whole thing. And I've mentioned this in the past. I want you to talk to me. And I said, talk to you? And he said, yeah, talk to me about life, about what's going on in your world. You can tell me how the Red Sox are doing. He was in Boston. Talk to me. And I said, talk to you. And he said, yes, just like we're doing now. And I said, well, Maury, let's face it, it won't be like we're doing now because I'll be talking, but you won't be able to talk back.
Right.
And he looked at me as if I were being very naive, and he said, well, Mitch, I'll make you a deal. After I'm dead, you talk, I'll listen. His last joke